I am Angel Vasquez, president of Pan Pepin, Puerto Rico and Dominican Republic. This is my first BEMA, so looking forward to share some time with you guys. And what I like the most about the industry is the camaraderie and all the friends that you're able to meet. So welcome to Puerto Rico and enjoy your time here.
Good morning, BEMA members. Once again, it's my honor to be asked to join you at your annual convention, this time in San Juan, Puerto Rico. I look forward to seeing you all, talking about our business, this wonderful, great industry of ours. Have a great time at your convention, and welcome to my home. Welcome to the Caribbean.
You were behaving good there.
Well, welcome. We've got one more. Actually, wait, I got to say this first. Guillermo said, with the wordly, I guess we're just going to do this whole panel in Spanish. I'm like, wait, not so fast. So, Guillermo, introduce yourself.
Well, I'm sorry for not making the video, but I'm Guillermo from Arecibo, Puerto Rico, Pastelería Sidrines. We welcome you to this spectacular week that you have, guys. So it's been a pleasure to have you. Thanks, Nick, for the invitation. So we're ready here to talk about things about our headaches that we have.
Sounds good. So, being here in Puerto Rico or in Jamaica, tell us, like, what products would be some of the most popular products that you guys make that we would see if we were in your market?
Well, the number one item is the loaf, the white bread. That's the main volume that we have on production. We started about 8-10 years ago to produce also the tortillas. That's going very well. And now we are entering into the sweet snacks. That's something we're very interested in. We start producing donuts about 2 years ago. We want to expand that line of products.
Right. Sounds good. Butch?
We basically make a 2-pound loaf. It's very dense. And it's probably made in what you would use for a 22-ounce bread in your U.S. market. It is our number one seller. It's a difficult product to make, but we've been successful with it. We've done it for a long time. And I think it has grown well. Now it is growing in the United States. It's doing well very well in England, the United Kingdom, Canada. We now operate our own distribution out of the Bronx. We're moving into Brooklyn next. We've outgrown that. We're coming down into South Florida, and back end of that, we're just in the middle of finishing up a 150,000 square foot plant in Montego Bay.
Right.
And that, as they say, it's just one line, guys. 9,000 pounds an hour, and I don't know where the heck I'm going to get bread pans to work with it. I know these guys. I know how I call them.
So we'll get into that in a little bit. Guillermo, what products do you guys? What are some of your most popular?
Well, in Arecibo, we have three production lines. Our most successful bread is the pan criollo. It's a traditional Puerto Rican bread. And a sweet bread I think it's the uniqueness of that type of bread, soft and sweet. Mm-hmm. And then we have another line that it's a Radamaker line that we have pastries. Right. That we make quesito, a traditional dessert that we have in the island that's selling very, very good. In the second location that we have in Lakeland, Florida, we only have 2 lines, park and full bake lines. And we make frozen and we make part bake.
Right. So operating on an island, and I want to ask all of you, kind of, what's your biggest challenge in well, you have other plants too, but kind of your operations day to day, what are your biggest challenges?
Well, I will say workforce. After COVID, the re-entry of the employees was hard. I mean, people think twice. They stay home or they come back, and the reality is that our industry is hard. I mean, the working hours plus there's no 2 consecutive days, weekends, and so forth. So the biggest challenge is that re-entry, even though that the minimum salaries have gone up, and we have done things to also incentivize the people to come back is still a challenge.
So certainly labor. Butch, how about you?
Labor,
Labor, labor, labor.
labor, labor,
Labor, labor, and more labor.
management, which today in Jamaica is the same as labor, unfortunately. That's the price we pay for people immigrating. When they go abroad, we go to the States. We lose people that we've educated and trained, and they disappear, and we have no one to replace them. So we have to start looking outward. Of course, the government, my government in Jamaica, we do the politics of poverty. The best in the world. So politically, we're going to keep everybody poor. Makes everyone happy that way. And yeah, guys, if you want to send this on YouTube back to them, go ahead. I'm good. Because I would love them to prove me wrong.
Yeah.
I'd be the first one to say, I'm wrong, I'm sorry, I apologize, I'll never do that again. No. Our reality is just like yours. It's labor, 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 and our education level is painful. But in spite of that, what we've decided on is that we know we can find fewer, better educated people. So our new plants are a combination of robotics, and we're going to take as much labor out of it, and the people who stay will do extremely well for themselves. And that's, I hope.
Guillermo, same.
Yeah, adding to that, I think I agree with both. And I think I heard on the meeting that we were having before the panel, there's a thing here that it has to be with labor too, but it's the knowledge and the expertise of people that you can bring to our business, or the situation that we have. So it's one of the biggest challenges is to how can you motivate our employees to be not on a transitional job that should be, this is going to be my profession. And I sometimes quite think that, for example, the guys that at some point were making coffee, now they're not coffee makers. They're baristas. So those people change the profession and they feel proud about it.
Right.
And I think the challenge that we have right now, it's how can we get them to be motivated to say, yeah, I'm a baker man. Right. And I think one of the biggest challenge that we, as a manufacturer, is to how can we bring talent. And I think talent for me, it's a very big challenge for us.
I'll follow up that, and we'll start that way and come back. Where in your factory are the biggest holes? Is it line guys? Is it mechanics? Is it, again, as you get more sophisticated lines, you have software and things. Where are the biggest holes when you're running your factory as far as labor?
It's a little bit of both. It's mechanics, knowledge, because I think there's the new technology that you guys bring us, but always on our side, it's going to be an artisan process, and it has to be the guy that touched the dough and said, this is ready to go. And AI will not do that. AI can reduce some times in process and all that, and I think that's, for you guys, you can understand our process. So you can, okay, let me help you on this, because I think that's the most important thing.
Butch, same kind of what areas?
Same thing.
Same thing.
But I think and we're woefully short on management, and therefore you don't have the leadership to guide, to motivate, to encourage. So it doesn't matter if your line staff is okay and your managers are terrible, then you're going to have a terrible line staff. That's like night follows day.
Right.
That's a reality. And we're going to have to train up as best we can. Like I said, I am convinced that we can motivate and train fewer people than we can a whole bunch of people. So we have to take the capital cost of going to sophisticated equipment. And the thing about sophisticated equipment, folks, it is only sophisticated until we learn how to use it. And we just have to make that investment and the time to learn and to train on it. And that's where you come in, how you deliver, what you do in after service, and the support outside. That's priceless stuff. That's nothing. That's everything. It really is everything. Right. If you make a 99% great piece of equipment and it breaks down every now and then, if you can tell us we have a weak spot, and when it happens, this is what you do. Hey, we're good. We're good. So that much we can do. What we can't do is troubleshoot to the level we should be able to, but quite frankly are not. And that's where your support will come in as BEMA members.
Right. AJ,
It's the same. It's across the board. I mean, I have been in the big industry now for 4 years, and when I compare to my past life on the distribution side, I also think we need to look at the mirror. I mean, when we see that there's no weekends for our people, 4 o'clock in the morning, long hours, extra hours. Puerto Rico, you have experienced the weather. Imagine the same weather inside a manufacturing plant. It's very warm. So I think there are enablers. We have great suppliers with especially extended shelf life and so forth. So we are taking a hard look at how we go about it. So we are more competitive in the environment that we provide to our employees, because it's production line engineers, but it's also salespeople. They endure a harder workplace than maybe other industries. So I think it's up to us also to look. It's not only higher wages and so forth. Yeah, we have to be competitive, but also how we go about it. And I think there are means of doing it. And in the same token, there's the issue of food waste, which is among us a concern. I mean, I brought my kid is 19 years old. Last year, when he was in senior in high school, he brought all his class to the operation. And yeah, they were, wow, this is great and so forth. But when they started seeing the waste, even though it was a small percentage, we were okay with it. They were overwhelmed with it. I mean, maybe our generation is accustomed to that waste, but the new generations are not. So they expect for us to really be in a 99 or 100%. And with that, I think there's a combination of factors. If you look at having longer shelf life, also being able to recycle some of the products and so forth. Technology, meaning on the microingredients side, but also technology, how we can become even more productive. I think that if we put it together, we can maybe change the model of going to market, and that way provide better hours and better time, being able to carry a little of inventory, which today we don't.
Right, exactly. I remember Mike Porter with New Horizon, maybe in one of our meetings, maybe last year before, he talked about how they've kind of changed that model, operating some of their plants. They've gone to a 336, or 312. So you work 312s, and if you make it those 3 shifts and you don't skip or call in sick or whatever, then they pay them the extra 4 hours for the 40 hours. And he's talked about how it's really reduced their turnover and things like that. But it's like you said in our call, it's changing that model, giving people a couple of days off, whatever. And it seems like our industry is certainly trying to find ways to change that model. I was going to ask, you're definitely on islands, and so that support really from this crowd. How much are you relying on this crowd to help you with solutions or the equipment, the ingredients, all that? Is it more now than it was, 4 or 5 years ago, or is it about the same? How are you relying on this crowd here to support you and your business? And
for lack of a better comparison, I think more than ever. As you mentioned, being on an island, something happens, we have to ship. I mean, when you look at our facility, we have the plant, and then we have a huge warehouse of just equipment to replace, and then we replace it immediately, and then we have to buy and replenish that one. So we rely on you guys a lot from both equipment and ingredients. It's everything, and we rely not only on the equipment, and it's more on the knowledge. It's critical. I mean, all the tendency. I mean, you guys. I mean, you're here together, so there's a lot of conversations among you guys of what new things can come along. We depend. So when we receive your visits, we welcome with open arms. We want to learn. We want to keep being ahead of the trend. And so knowledge is also not only the equipment side and best practices, benchmarks. That's something that is welcome.
Right. Anybody else?
Yeah. Well, we're an island. So I do bread. I have 3 bread lines, 4 cookie cracker lines, and I do also do extruded snacks. I have $5.5 million in spare parts. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so what we're going to wake up in about 2 years, and we're going to say,
They're happy with that.
I know. Yeah, especially Morabito. I mean, so I'm going to wake up about, you.
They will be happy if you spend the
About
critical
2 years,
parts.
I'm going to wake up and I'm going to have about $500,000 worth of spare parts for 500 Series BP dividers. And yeah, Damian, you can come get them. But really, that's just the price we pay for what we do. And that's our reality. We cannot jump in the car and run down to Home Depot, not in Jamaica. You're not going to find that stuff. There's no Grangers down the road, and everything is an airline delivery if you're in a hurry, or by boat. We have had to fly people to Miami to walk out of MIA. They walk outside, they go back outside, they pick up a part, and they walk straight back in. We've had to do that to stay running because you just can't keep every part. It's just not possible. And it's a realization of BEMA members that this is what we face. We face, and others like us in the islands, that will give you the advantage over anyone else. You need to understand this. And kind of, we're not exaggerating. When we're in trouble, we're in trouble.
Right.
Oh, yeah, yeah, when we're in trouble, we're in trouble. And nothing ever breaks down on Mondays. Everything breaks down on Thursdays and Fridays. Right. Plan's going to run perfect, you know.
Friday or Saturday?
Yeah, and then Murphy moves in somewhere between Wednesday night and Saturday morning, and he takes up residence and he stays for a while. And so we face this issue, and it's just common. If you anywhere you go, you run down to Trinidad, ask the guys at KISS, same problem, same problem.
Yeah,
So
I'm sorry.
it's the understanding by you all that's going to really give you the edge, because in as much as you may worry about the Chinese, for example, yes, I'm Chinese, but I'm Jamaican first. And if you ask Bundy, he says, I'm Ohioan or something like that. I mean, if you understand the difference that you are right here in the same time zone, it's a big deal. It's a big deal. You're not halfway around the world, and it makes a huge difference. It makes a big difference because I have Ishida machines, and if I can't get the part out of Lancaster, it has to come from Japan. It's a problem.
And it's an important thing that you brought it, Butch. It's that when we call that we have a problem, it has to solve now. Because it's the nature of our business. The nature of we cannot have any downtown hours because there's an equipment that is not working like it's supposed to. So it's a very challenging, but to Angel's point, more than ever, we need them. We need BEMA guys, because it's the knowledge that we were having 30 to 25 years ago. That knowledge, it's gone or retired. So, and that people that we have right now doesn't have that type of knowledge that we have right now. So that's more than ever we need them.
Challenging. Let's talk about operating where they're in a pretty small geographic area. There's so many different cultures. There's so many different flavors. So tell us sort of percentage-wise, what do you sell on your island versus somewhere else? And then kind of maybe the challenges of serving a market that can be so different in flavor and taste and all that. So Cameron, why don't you start with that?
Yeah. 5 years ago, before pandemic, and that's something that obviously the trend that we are seeing after pandemic, it's a whole different game. But after pandemic, the Puerto Rico business was about 80% of our sales. And now with US, it's 50-50. We're selling almost like $40 million. And the organic growth that we were having in the States in the last 5 years, we're increasing about from 10 million to 25. But it's because obviously we got about 3,500 stores in the States. We can have here about 500 points of sales, but we are very consumer in terms of bread. We eat, it says like 40 pounds per day, if you can take the assumption of the bread, but we consume a lot of bread here. So that's the main products, the pan de agua, pan sobao, every day. We got about, I will say, ISB about 300 maybe in terms of with the supermarkets, and then all of them, because we implemented, and that was my, very proud to say this, that my dad and my uncle were the co-founders of Sidrines. And they start with retail bakery stores. And at some point, how we started the manufacturer business was because they were having 13 bakery retail stores in Puerto Rico. So just to try to uniform and all that stuff, and that's why Sidrines was getting into the manufacturer side, and he provided a model that they can have, a gas station can have bake bread and doesn't have to go to a bakery. We, at some point, we were the enemy at some point of the bakery guys that were doing from scratch, but we implemented that model. And right now, you can go to a convenience store, you can go to a gas station, and you can buy a hot, fresh bread. So it's a very unique program. But yeah, we have a lot of consumers here that makes bread.
Butch, any like percentage you sell in Jamaica versus?
No, we're 85 in Jamaica, and the rest overseas, and it's growing. The Jamaican market, I'm proud to say we do a pretty good job in it on distribution points. We have 9,000 distribution points, which means we'll go anywhere from a big box store right down to some little lady on the corner who's going to buy 20 loaves. And I keep reminding our people that lady made us, not the big box stores. That little lady on the made us. And today, the big stores are still 25% of our business, and the rest of it are small stores, mom and pop, or just mom, or just pop. But they are our bread and butter, pardon the pun. And the other thing about them, they pay cash. You don't have to go chasing after them for your money every weekend. You look at your receivables on some of our route sales, it's zero. And it works. It works. It has worked well for us. And so I said, all right, we have to go outside. So the new equipment, the new factory, everything we're putting together, it's kind of aimed at the North American, UK market and Canada. Canada is a big chunk of that market for us because we have 1 million Jamaicans living in Toronto, which probably explains the problems Toronto is having, but anyway, that's a different story. We can talk about that later on. But yeah, they're growing. South Florida has gotten very, very Jamaican.
We're similar to us because in Orlando we have like a 1 million Puerto Ricans.
And in London, Jamaicans have been going there since the end of the Second World War. And it's a constant stream. There are huge pockets of them, north, south London, a massive amount in Birmingham. Massive. So we're just getting into that market slowly, and they have welcomed us. And so we're very happy about that. But we have to look out. We can't grow Puerto Rico. Puerto Rico is the same. And if I read properly, guys, your population is not growing.
Not growing.
It's just kind of sitting right here. It's going nowhere. And I have to mention something. The Continental Baking in our company's name is not by accident. And we did not try and plagiarize the name from Continental Baking, IT&T, sorry. Oops, mistake. It actually was a combination and a deal struck with my dad back in the 60s and Roy Anderson at Continental. They bought 38% of our family shares. And along with that came a whole bunch of fantastic engineering people, Weldon Clark, Earl Toby, Ed Hildebrand Jr. And so it opened a whole door for us, and it opened the biggest door was open for me. Because I was this little kid walking around the plant, and everybody had to tolerate me. Of course you did. I'm the boss's son. But I was useful. I understood equipment. I learned to understand it. I learned to appreciate it. And unfortunately for me, I learned to love it. Which means I'm still in the business. These gentlemen are all gone, as you said. And all the people they trained have passed away. I mean, I am the youngest of the set. And I'm a part of Jurassic Park, if you haven't noticed. So, what Guillermo is saying, that more than ever before, BEMA is relevant in terms of your service levels. You kind of have to understand our issues. I was just telling Bill, I think it was Bill outside, that my guys on a Schaefer mixer, they have the Allen Bradley touch pad. My guys stick their fingers through the screen. Do you have any idea how hard it is to stick your finger through that screen?
They break them, the panel.
Right through it. You didn't do it in one day, but it doesn't matter. The cumulative effect of you doing that means you shouldn't have a finger. So I tell you what, Schaefer, you guys check it out. Ask how many screens we bought from you. I sometimes wonder if these guys work for you all. Right? So it's right through the screen. AMF, same thing, and the bag goes right through the screen. How do you do that? That is our reality. That's the reality we deal with. And you need to kind of understand it. You can laugh at it because we laugh with you right before we cry. But once you understand these issues, like if Jimmy Bloom was here or the guys in the pan side, they tell you when we send pans back to Jacksonville, up to Ron Masucci's old place there, Bill, Ron used to look at it and say, where the hell did these come from? You guys actually use it. And how did they get it bent into an L? We can do it. Yes, sir. So understand our dilemmas, and when you design and when you service and when you install, don't walk away until you find the pinch point. Try and put yourself in the position of the operator. Wait, sit there. Give it an extra day. Give it an extra 2 days. It's going to make all the difference in your relationship. And that's magic, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, the Caribbean market has been looked at as one market, but the reality is there are many countries. Spanish, French, from the UK, and even from Holland. So sometimes we have to see there's equipment from all over the place. We just entered the Dominican Republic market about 4 years ago. Completely different market. I mean, we are a 20-minute flight away from Dominican Republic. Still, is completely different marketplace. The big consumption of bread, but not industrial bread. So that's why we got into the market. And our biggest challenge there has been equipment-wise, not in the sense of the supply of the equipment, but the cost of the equipment. I mean, we were able to handle those costs. I mean, don't carry away. We can handle a little bit better in this market in Dominican Republic. I mean, the all-in, the cost of an operator is $7,000 a year. So the challenge is, yeah, we want to industrialize, but there's no way that we can pay for a $10 million line. So those are the type of things that we struggle because we want to, and then we have done with equipment that was in Puerto Rico, and when we put a new line in Puerto Rico, that line became available. We drop it there, and it's working very well. A 50-year-old line it makes wonderful things there in Dominican Republic, but we want to expand that. That's where we get into trouble. Right. So when you see at the Dominican Republic, what we see is a lot of more European equipment, which is not as integrated. It's not the whole system flowing. It's just a divider, a mixer, and that's about it. The rest is very manual. And we are entering to change that, but the challenge is the cost and also the how quick can we grow the market so there's a payout.
Yes, that the ROI is there. So we might have just a minute or two to get a question from this audience. So does anybody want to jump in for a question?
No, we explained everything.
Maybe.
Crystal clear?
Yeah, crystal clear. There you go.
How reliant are you guys on service techs to get lines installed and running? Is that okay?
Once we bought an equipment, we called everything in terms of installation and trainings. So it's very important for us training, as Butch was saying, more than ever. We got the challenge. It's obviously the new iteration that we have. So when we buy an equipment, I'm not buying because, and don't get me wrong, there's plenty of guys that can make equipment, but we are buying someone that can partner with us, that can understand what we need, and then we decide if the pricing is too high, we negotiate, and that's going to be the other another topic. But we are concentrating of what's the service that you guys can provide us at the most important thing that we for an equipment. Do I answer your question?
Yeah, we're putting together this plant in Montego Bay, and there is equipment coming from Japan, China, Italy, Austria, and most of it, the rest of the United States. So we didn't try and coordinate everybody. So I got a hold of Pat Wilkins. This is not an advert for Pat Wilkins, and if you guys use him, just tell me, because I'm going to collect anyway. So I got Pat and his kids working with us, and what they're doing, they're pulling this thing together. So the relevant stuff goes, and as I understand it at this moment now, we haven't really forgotten anything recently. Oh yeah, we did forget the basket washer, the boiler, and I forgot to sign off on the cooler. But apart from that, we're good. No, seriously. So we rely on you, but in as much as I'm doing an entire plant and not from one vendor, then I go further and I get somebody out of the States. It has to be out of the States, folks. I mean, I want somebody 2 hours up the road. He's in Murfreesboro. So I want somebody close because he can get to Jamaica overnight and we can speak. So I'll visit him and we talk this thing through, because we're going to forget something. But to try and do it by ourselves, or have you say, okay, I'm going to tie up with this company, we'll make it right. That's too hard for you. I'm not sure it's not something you want to take on. So big projects, yes. A single piece of equipment, a new sheet scale, and a new bagger. Yeah, we're going to fly the guys down.
No.
And we'll get that done in
Big ones.
2 days.
And what I have seen is the same technical people that come to do the startup, they become the point of engagement of the people that are going to operate. So, but those people are traveling to do other installations. So sometimes when that team leads and something comes along, that's the connection. I think there's a little bit of more customer service or a little bit of more support that needs to be available, so that connectivity among the teams are always there. As mentioned throughout the entire presentation, something doesn't work. I mean, we get really nervous because it's an island. It takes a fly away, or depending on the equipment, even though we have replacements. So there's a lot of pressure to get the lines up and running again.
All right, well, I want everybody here to thank these three gentlemen for taking some time out and sharing with us, and we appreciate it.
Always pleasure.
I want to take this minute opportunity to. I know that probably you remember in 2017 we went through Hurricane Maria here in Puerto Rico. So thank you for choosing Puerto Rico to be this year's conference. But thank you more because at that time, I mean, Puerto Rico was a mess, was chaotic. BEMA rally. Mario was part of BEMA then. He worked on Pan Pepin at the time, and you guys made a donation to our employees. And that shows a lot of, it speaks volume of what this BEMA means as an industry, so we really appreciate. So I want to take the opportunity to thank you in person for what you did for us 7 years ago.
Well, thanks, and it is so important, when we're in Puerto Rico, to get that feel and that touch and hear from the local. It just makes such a difference for being a part. So thank you very much, and I think Emily is going to maybe give us some logistics and wrap things up.